So, hi guys, this is episode number 6, and today we are with Adi Gupta. So, tell us about yourself, Adi.
Hi, how are you, Kazim? Thank
Uh,
you for inviting me to your show. Lovely set, beautiful view. You can see the whole of Melbourne. Anyways, a little bit about me, I guess. So I've been in Melbourne for 23 years, and just like most of us, I came as a student. I come from a business family, so both my father's side and mother's side family have been in business for a few generations. So of course, that was always in my blood, and I wanted to do business, so that's what I studied. I did international business and e-commerce management, Bachelor of Commerce from Deakin University, and just for fun, I thought, okay, I'll get a marketing job, and as most students would. So I didn't even work the first few semesters because I wasn't a great student. So my dad was just like, you know what, just pass, I'll be happy, and I'll look after everything. But I was very excited to see what sort of marketing and how I would be as in sales and marketing. I always thought I'd be good, which turned out that was true. Whichever company I worked for, I always wanted to be the best salesman, and I did achieve that. My first job was with Primus Telecom. It was a company called Sales Engineering, and we used to do telemarketing for telephone services to convert from mostly Telstra to Primus. And most of the uni, I did that, and that was quite good. Earned a lot of commission, as you know, in all the sales job you can, which was quite helpful because I was getting money from overseas from my dad as well. So it was a good student lifestyle, I think, at that point of time. Then I did work in some other marketing companies as well. Same, and wherever I went, I did at least work for a year or so, which is rare in marketing. But again, because I was good and it was something that came easily to me, it was something that always I was attracted to this industry, and I didn't have to really do anything else. But when my uni got finished, I got hired for this company called the Smart Group, right? And I thought, okay, I'll work here temporary till I get into my family business or start my own company or something like that. And I must be, I guess, around 21 at that point of time.
Very young.
But that company was also made up of young owners, was like in their 20s, and the national marketing director was the same. And it was a big company that was growing very fast. It had 16 umbrella companies. And surprisingly, the campaign that I was selected was Primus Telecom, which was my first job. Anyways, I broke pretty much all the records that company had. The top sales record in one day, top sales record in 1 week. I think I got like 58 sales in that week, which was
Nice.
phenomenal. Just my commission check was, I think, around $5,000 plus the base. So it was a good week.
Good man.
And high sales for with one customer, basically pretty much all the records. And then I was like, okay, look, I'm gonna leave and start my own company. And they kept promoting me. Every few months I'd get a promotion. So by 23, anyways, I moved from on the phones at 21 within a few months to team leader, to senior team leader, and by 22 something, I was campaign manager of Primus Telecom. So I was handling 80 people who were under me. We were getting the company, I think, around 200 sales a day, which is quite a lot. So in gross, I think they were getting around $40,000 upward per day, and net was around 20. So that was good. But at around 23, I was like, look, I need to start my own company. So I left. They were very surprised. The national marketing director was also like, are you sure? It's not that easy. I mean, if it was, even I would have done it. You're young, you're very good, but you're very good in sales. How do you know other things? So sales, and obviously motivating people to sell. But I was like, no, look, that's part of the journey. I'll figure it out. And I started my own business. It was called, at that time, AG Business Solution, which I think now almost like, 18 years back now. So it seems like a while away. And we had the contract for Victoria Electricity, which is now Lumo.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was actually quite a lot of learning things. I learned quite a bit over there when I did that, because again, as the national marketing director mentioned, it was correct. You think that you can do everything because the whole campaign was run by me, but there's 100 things in the background, right? Which you don't specifically know until you start your own business. From little things like buying all the furniture to who's going to assemble it, to buying all the computers, who's going to assemble all the, the pods and things like that. All those things was a huge learning curve because I didn't even think about these things. I just thought about the work.
Yeah.
So anyways, that was a good experience. I did really well in that. And around 25, we expanded to, I guess, the direct sales as well, which was door to door. I got some people who with good contacts, some also from the previous company who joined me. And we ended up making a very big team with around several team leaders. I think at one time we had over 12 team leaders, different campaign managers, trainers, and we expanded over 3 states.
Wow.
And we had a team of over 200 people, almost getting 600 sales a day, which became the biggest energy contract for an energy retailer in Australia.
Wow. So we're talking about how many millions revenue in a month?
Well, look, I mean, it's been so long, but if I was to calculate, we were getting around $220 per sale, and we were getting 600 sales a
Let's
day.
do the math.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at math, but yeah, it's a lot of
That's a lot. Obviously, we had expenses, but we'd still, I would say, have net 70, 80 amongst the
Yeah.
owners. And by that time, I had other people involved as well because it grew up quite a bit. But it was decent amount. By the time I sold my share around 28, because I thought it's time I start my family business, which I'll
Yeah.
talk to you more about.
Yes.
By the time I sold my share, I think there was good amount that I could buy quite a few properties. And that was the first journey we did, I guess, into property development. I bought quite a lot of apartments in the city. Wrong move in hindsight because they haven't really increased in value. I'm still holding on to them, but it's fine. You know, it's good to have parties there
Yeah.
from time to time. So anyways, I sold off the company at a really good time because I think the next year the Victorian government stopped direct sales. So that was actually a good time to get out. So
Did you know it, or it was just
no,
an accident?
no. It was
God's plan.
yeah. It was a good time. I think it was a good decision because the sort of role I understood. It's good when you're young, like all the direct sales, the energy you need, and things like that. And my eventually, what I wanted to do was my family does property and jewelry, right? So
Yeah.
those were two of my callings. Not, I don't know, is it because my family has done it and I've seen it as I was growing up? When I
Yeah.
was growing up, I'd see my dad making these buildings even, or, there's a concept overseas called farmhouse where you make a mini resort
Yeah.
for, that, right? So I don't know if it was that was the inspiration, but that was always in me. And same with jewelry as well. I was always around jewels, understanding, learning. In fact, before I came to Australia at the age of 18, I took 6 months off to do all the courses first. Then I came to uni.
You did your real estate course?
No. Gemstones.
Oh,
Jewelry.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a
Perfect.
certified diamond grader as well and gemologist. So that's because I did the courses.
Right.
I guess I would give the credit to my dad. He had the foresight to be like, okay, uni is very important, but once you're in Australia, it'll be very difficult for you. Do these courses first. And I was like, why? It's just wasting 6 months. I can figure it out later. But I think it was very useful because when I then coming back, when I sold my company and I wanted to get into the family business, I mean, I already was trained. I still, surprisingly, anything that I've learned or studied, it's in my head. All the physical material is always thrown.
Yeah.
For some reason, I still did have all the notes from when I studied when I was 18.
Wow.
So it was there. I just opened the books, brushed up again, and we started wholesale.
So it doesn't mean like you are a millionaire by the age of 23 already, yeah? Was it 23 or 24?
I would say around 25, 26.
So 26, you're already, 25,
Yes.
26, you're already a millionaire. But do you consider yourself a self-made millionaire?
Yeah, look, that's a question that obviously people always want to know. And it's a difficult answer because I would say that having a backing gives you a sense of security. But I don't think I took ever direct money. A lot of my friends think like, oh, maybe he got help from overseas to do these projects or whatnot. No, it wasn't like that. But definitely having a security that
Right.
you know if something happens,
Yeah.
there's something fall back on. Is I don't know any different though. So I don't know if I'd still be a risk taker if I didn't have that security. Um, so it's a difficult answer. But yes, of course, there is a mindset that comes with it, being part of a business family, that I think helps a lot to become a millionaire.
So regarding this, you're
And
coming
in
from
saying that, I still feel funny when someone asks this question. In fact, my 10-year-old son asks me all the time, "You must be a millionaire." And I'm like, "No, we're not." I hate measuring money like that because to me, as a businessman, I've seen in a lot of family, money comes and goes. It's temporary. You don't think of, say, you just do the work, what's required, and if the benefit comes, it comes. I just don't even check the account. If you ask me how much is in the bank account, I won't even know.
okay. That's the definition for being really, really
No,
wealthy.
no, I mean, in a way that
So
it's just
you
coming in and
you
out.
wanna ask me how I can tell you my cent how much I have. But yeah, coming from a family who knows business gives you all the mindset and what do's and not to do's. And that's really good because you already
Or even
have the
calling the family for advice is a big major plus point, because I always pick up the phone and call even right now, right? There's a lot of things where I think skill set wise, like maybe I might not need to call my dad. I might know things a little bit in Australia better.
Yeah.
Not saying he knows things better which are overseas, but I'll just call him still, because you just want to hear yourself talk to him, and he might have some points. So even that in itself is value.
Absolutely. Yeah. And father, they're the best supporter.
Yeah.
The biggest supporter. For me, my father is from construction.
Oh yes.
And you are from middle class. We haven't had anything luxury. So in the family, no one had done business before. And if it was a small innovation job here and there. And that's why, like you said, I really can connect because
Yeah.
calling now what I'm doing.
Yeah,
They go
right.
renovate.
That's right.
Why? Because it's in my blood.
Yes.
And did you know that they have done some research and they noticed that, if the father is a good archer, the
Yeah.
son is a good archer
Yeah.
too, even without the practice. So there's something in the DNA that's
Correct.
happening.
Right.
But at the same time, this is like there's so many sides to this, right? You can see in the network that you have, there are these families that they're doing very good and their son is spoiled.
Yes. Yes.
How having that comfort in the back doesn't give you like, I think it was a war that happened. They said the general said burn all the boats.
Yep.
And they won the war.
Yep. Correct.
But you have boats waiting for you.
No. In fact, they say the third generation generally loses and fourth makes it back. So my dad was the third generation. He was really, I guess, yeah. I won't use the word spoiled dad if you're listening. Sorry, but yeah, he was actually given everything on a platter. So he made sure that we don't get so spoiled. He always tried to make us humble and make sure that we realize, because I think he realized at some point that that's important, which I guess his parents didn't do for him. So I appreciate that fact. Like even things like, when we were younger, I still remember, especially in India growing up, there's a big disparity, right? And generally like public transport is very difficult to take, and you would never
Very late.
take it. And we were getting a little spoiled, I think around 15, where we were, oh, we won't do this needs to be done by XYZ, so and so. And is that all right? I'm going to teach you guys a lesson. And then one summer, my sister and mother, we have family overseas, so they usually go there a lot. So my sister and mother went to London and America to meet family. My dad's like, both of you sons will stay here. And that summer when we used to go to play tennis, swimming, he used to always have activities for us. He would send the car driver behind the bus and tell the driver not to take us in the car, and you say you have to go in the normal public transport. Now, for the viewers here, this might sound, what's the big deal? Believe me, over there overseas, if for kids who've never done it, oh my God, for a few days we were trying to figure out how to get on the bus, because it stops for a second and just drives off. So the driver had to teach us and we had to get on the bus. By the 2 months end, man, we were pros. We were pushing in, getting in. So, I mean, and that, gave us a lot of, brought us down to earth. So he used to do many times things like that. So I think to answer your question, it's a little bit credit to him. He just made sure we weren't spoiled. Some of our cousins are spoiled, so yeah.
So you know what I'm talking about, right? Um, Now we go to, I know for sure that you have a lot of interesting stories, especially from the business points. And like you said, that your father is the third generation. I wonder who the first generation is,
Yep.
right? Do you want to give us more?
Yeah, so from my both sides of the family, as I said, were heavily into business. So from my father's side, he's like at least the generation that I know while I was alive. My great grandfather, he was a pioneer. He was known for metals trading, one of the best in Delhi.
Yeah.
In fact, the main street where the metal trading is done in Narayana in Delhi, that pretty much mostly was owned by my family at one time. And even till now, we have a lot of like property over there and still some people doing so. That was their main family business. And then, of course, my dad was heavily into construction as well, mostly into farmhouses. And then he made some buildings too. That really inspired me because as a kid, right, these farmhouses, especially just for the viewers that don't know, in India, there's a concept called farmhouses where you'd make a mini resort for someone who can afford it, which would be a little bit away from the city. Maybe like when I say farmhouse, it's not a farm; it's actually a mini luxurious resort for the ultra rich to go back and like a holiday home, but massive, right? So he'd make these farmhouses, and then he would get these mini models at home or the photos and things like that. And I'd see it as a kid, and I'd be completely obsessed with it. And then if we're going along certain areas, and like my driver would point out, oh, your dad made this building, or your dad did this or that. That used to make me feel really proud, which was a good feeling. So obviously, somewhere down the line, I mean, it just put a thought in my mind as well to sort of take it over, and I was always quite interested in it. And again, different family members went to different things. They sort of, I guess, there's a very common like concept in India when there's a family business gets too big, it gets distributed amongst everyone. So that happened for my dad and his families, I think in the 80s, just around the time when I was born. So my dad, as I said, he went more into property. Someone took more the metal side. Someone was more into clothing manufacturing and so on. From my mother's side, they were quite big into different things as well. Surprisingly, construction was one of them. So my Nana, my grandfather, he's made some buildings in Bombay, quite famous ones for that time. Like Mont Blanc is one of them. I don't know if some of the viewers from Bombay would know Grand Pradi.
Yeah.
And he has Metro Cinema, which is now my cousins have it, which is in Mumbai. Plus, he's the guy who started with the mining of the gemstones, which is, he was a pioneer for that, to go to these places like Africa and Brazil. And his stories that he used to tell me in Africa, when he used to go to see these mines, there would be cannibals in the trees waiting to catch hold of them, him and his security and his team and whatnot, to eat them. And that's the sort of places, like remote places, he used to go to. And basically, all those, my uncle consolidated it. And they listed the company. And I guess that's sort of like seeing all these things happen within the family was a real motivator. And again, coming back to what I was saying, when I sold my business, the first sales and marketing one. And again, the reason why I even started was that if you get straight into the family business, how would you really know how good you are in anything?
There's a system, follow the system, do this.
Yeah, so it'd be too easy and comfortable to be honest. So that's why I even started my own first sales and marketing company. And when I started my jewelry company, which was in 2012, AG Jewelers, that was a wholesale company. And again, it was just because the family was so heavily into it. We had amazing contacts and I loved it itself. And so that we started in wholesaling in 2013.
So for our viewers, you have started a company and that became very successful and you sold it.
Yes, correct.
Was there any lesson? Was there a day where you thought that it's not going to work?
Look, as a businessman, these thoughts keep coming and going. But the point is how strong you are mentally.
Yeah.
And you have to let the thoughts come and go. If you think it's not going to work, you have to find a solution. Everything is solutions, right? In fact, I'm too much into it. My wife is like, you don't have to find solutions to everything. Sometimes she tells me your problems and I start looking for solutions. She's like, I'm just telling you don't have to give me solutions. So I think that's you have to be always finding solutions as a businessman, not crying over problems. And I think that's a very key important point to be a successful businessman is the mindset. And one of the things about mindset that comes is sort of if there's a problem, let's work on the solution. And this can happen every day. It can get exhausting, but you know what? That's why you're a businessman. You can take it. That's the whole fun of it.
Is that the mindset that you got it yourself, or is it a mindset that's passed on to you from here?
I would really think it's both nurture and nature. It's a combination of both because some of the cousins who would also could have, are not like that. So it's not necessarily that if it's passed on, you will take it. You need to be accepting to begin with.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's a combination of both.
Beautiful. So you started your journey into jewelry, like you had the support of the family. You already know the knowledge even before coming
Well,
across
basically, the contacts is a big support. Big support because you do end up getting a lot of benefits from it, which is the benefits then I can pass on to the customers and things like that. But again, because of the business that I sold, a huge chunk of the seed money I already had, which I eventually used. Yes.
and the skills that you learn in sales.
Yeah, of course. You
So
learn like it's already in you. You learn a bit, but of course, I mean that's every business you can sort of adapt a little bit, and if you're good, then you'll be good.
I started this business, but I stopped working on it because I'm working on a different business. It's called Ninja Shai,
Okay.
and I started doing this, like mobile car washes.
Okay.
So I started going to the houses and I knock on the door, and every time that I knock on the door, I start to improve my strategies.
Yes.
And I had this mic with me and I started recording it and go back to the car and listen why this customer said no even before I said anything. Then it's all about how you put it all together.
Yeah.
The lessons you pick up from knocking on the door, you cannot learn it in any textbooks in any course.
Oh, of course.
And also the skills of not giving up.
Yes.
Like they're trying to say, hey, I'm not going to do it. Then you are like, what about I do this?
Yeah.
What about I do this? In a way, you're selling the dream and the feelings.
Yeah.
So you got all of these skills. You're doing the jewelry business. You started in 2012, right? And how did you expand it? And
so we were wholesaling. We started with Victoria, then started doing other states as well. And look, to be honest, it was going really well. It's so much so I was getting a bit complacent. Then COVID happened. So in a way, for a very long time, I was thinking of opening my own retail store. The problem with that is when you're a wholesaler, I know a lot of wholesalers say, oh, we are wholesalers and they have a store. The problem with that is you're not really, it's not illegal legally, but a lot of people you supply to straight away tell you cannot supply direct. If you do, we won't deal with you. So I was always say yes. So that was always stopping me from getting into retail. But after COVID happened, of course, our business did get affected and we decided to then do retail. So it was good push in that sense. And now we started Adoria Jewels, which is the main business for us now, even more so than AG Jewelers. And that's been, I think, almost 4.5, 5 years now. So just pretty much after COVID. So that was a good push for us that we decided, okay, this is the time we're going to start our own retail store, a retail brand. So Adoria Jewels, we opened an Emporium Mall. So if your viewers are from Melbourne, it's on the ground floor as well. So it was a good location on Emporium. We were there 2 years, and then we decided that we're going to open our flagship store in Collins Street because we wanted to be somewhere where we could do a long term. Because with the mall, it's every 2 years they renew the lease. You don't know which side they're going to send you or whatever it is, or how high the rent will go now. So I think for us, it was more important that we have a signature store, which is where we chose Collins Street. I wanted a big window, so we managed getting that as well. So yeah, and we've been doing quite well from there. We've got certain principles that we work with, coming from mines to market, because there's no middleman, we can give our customers a price beat guarantee. In fact, I was telling you the other day. Yes.
That surprised me.
Yeah.
Anywhere in the world, you bring me the quotation, you bring me, just show me the price, I'll read it.
Sure. So yeah, because see, when I was in the shop, a lot of people would come to me. So my thing is, again, solving problems, right? Which is what I was telling you. So how this whole thing came about, which I'll repeat for the viewers. So we give you price beat guarantee. You can get a quote to us from anywhere in the world. It could be a physical shop or even online. And if we can't beat it, we give you the jewelry for free.
Doesn't matter.
Which is
price doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Even $100,000.
It doesn't matter. If it's a genuine quote and anyone can buy it, and if we can't beat it, we'll give the jewelry for free. So
that shocked me.
Yeah, because there is no middleman. Our family is doing this from so many years. I mean, if we can't beat it, come on. There's like, so the reason why I did that is a lot of people would come to the shop, right? And a lot would buy, but then after building such good rapport, sometimes people won't buy. And the reason why I found out, right, was they thought online will be cheaper, which sometimes is true from the first instance, right? When you walk into a showroom, because there's overheads, there's rent and things like that. So I was like, okay, that's a problem. Solution, fine. You give me the code, we'll beat it. You still get the same experience like you're getting a Collins Street shop. You get the same warranty. So there's no online problem or where do I take this to fix and so on and so forward. And in terms of warranty, we give lifetime warranty on all our products and lifetime free cleaning and polishing. So you still enjoy that, but we'll beat the price. So that worked really well, especially like a lot of people, it became a no-brainer. They're like, oh, this is what I was getting. What can you do? All right, fine, we'll beat it. The other thing I noticed, especially with a lot of people going back overseas, that, oh, you know what? I have to wait 1 year till I go overseas because jewelry is a bit cheaper there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a problem. What is the solution? Same thing. Let me know what price you're getting overseas. I'll beat it over here. You still get the Australian quality, warranty, and local service, and you don't have to wait every year till you go overseas. So
that's crazy, because imagine if there's a country, let's say in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
So there's a shop and their staff and their operation costs is not as high, and
comparative.
So it's crazy. Yep. You are just willing to cut that much off the margin and everything.
More important for me, the whole concept of a family jeweler doesn't exist in Australia so much. People come for an occasion, they buy jewelry and they go. It's not like, oh, every occasion I should get a jewelry, because they think the prices are high. They don't get the same level of service and things like that. So I don't mind. I'm not making a profit if it's required, but I want my customer to be happy and for them to think of me as their family jeweler. For them to always think, whenever I think of jewelry, I think Adoria Jewels, I'll get the best price, best service, best quality. And rest assured that that jewelry becomes also an investment piece for them. So then they don't lose out on money paying the high markups as well. So that was my concept. So because to do that, I should be able to go down to almost my cost, which would mean I can beat anywhere. So any quote from any country in the world.
That's crazy. That's good. So do you guys deal with gold bar or anything?
No, only jewelry. So gold bar is just like normal. Like I'll buy, you'll buy. So that I can't really do any savings for you over there. And where I can is where there's art involved in making jewelry, or there's a gemstone, which because of my contacts of family doing this for so long, I can get a better price for you than anyone else. So that's where really your savings would be.
When I hear about jewelry and goldsmiths, I remember this guy. His content is really viral. Have you seen him in New York City?
Oh yes,
because with the gold bar, and this, how much do you think it's gonna cost?
Yeah, there's this few like this. Yeah.
$300 bill. And it's really fascinating to see how he's just going around and handing gold.
Yeah. Well, because he makes enough from the content then, right?
He makes that, and he gets a lot of high value customer from the content
as well. Yes.
Imagine all the celebrities going there.
Yeah. Like, in fact, I would say, that's one of the disadvantages. Like there's things you need to always learn as a businessman, what to improve. You can't be like, oh, I'm doing well, so everything is good. Coming from a wholesale side and wholesale mentality where we were almost restricted to do anything online. We were even restricted to put our name online because we were in the background. Remember,
Yeah.
we are manufacturers, so I have my own manufacturing. So we manufacture our own jewelry, we wholesale, and we give it to the shops, and it was the shops promoting themselves. So even when I started my shop, and because it was in a good location, we were getting good amount of sales, but I feel we should have jumped on to getting a branding company much before. In fact, I just recently hired a branding company and we're redoing everything. So I'm very excited for that. But that was again because it was so different to the current mentality I was in that I should have done that long before. But yes, that is something which I feel we should have jumped years and years back, and it would have been a very good time.
Any plans to do that?
Yeah, I just told you. In fact,
Your branding company.
we've hired a very, very good branding company. We've got like now videography done for our stores and our story, and the 3 guarantees I spoke to you about: best price, best service, and best quality. So we're gonna get that message out. So rather than only if someone knows me personally or they come to the store, we want this to be out. So we're doing a whole branding exercise. So hopefully by like next year, sometime you'd start seeing it more and more. And of course, the people who want to buy engagement rings and things like that, they know us because of us being in Collins Street and things like that. But it can become a household name, hopefully, in a couple of years.
Beautiful. It's really good that we are part of this. And it's really good to see you grow and the company grow, because it's always, inspiring to see founders like yourself. You know what I really like? It's just me to me, me to you talk. You're coming from all of the success, but still you're very humble. Well, on the day I met you, you were very humble, and it was just a casual talk, right? And then it's still humble, and this is something that's really touching, right? It's not about billions and billions you're making. It's about sitting and having this genuine talk, and I'm always looking after successful individuals, because I know that for me to grow, I need to connect to individuals that had already done it, because they're the best people that can teach me genuinely.
Yep.
So I had a lot of good people on the podcast, and all of them, they were so kind, so genuine to teach me. And I'm just making notes of all of this, and I'm becoming a better version of myself. And I'm always grateful for this opportunity. So you're very humble. How do you stay humble?
Because to be honest, I mean, it's the goals that I have for myself are still a bit far to be. I mean, even though if I achieve it, I never want to be cocky, because what I told you, right? I think the first answer I would say to that is the goals I have, they're still too far. I mean, I don't look at success in monetary terms, and that's why I don't even worry about looking what's in the account. It was very funny when you said the word millionaire. I was just like, oh, no, please don't. So the first thing is that, and the second thing is because I'm coming from a business family, I've seen many times money comes and goes. I've seen a lot of my friends who recently make money, and of course they are spoiling the kids, and I try to tell them that I have seen this. You need to always keep them a little little whatever you can say, that what's the right term to say that, but don't spoil them so much, and including themselves sometimes. It can go to the head as well. But for me, I've seen billionaires go down. I've seen people who were nobody, no one wanted to talk to them, becoming billionaires. So it's a temporary phase. It's just a temporary phase. It's in and out, and you don't know what will happen tomorrow, right? I'm confident. I think I'm smart. I think I'm hardworking, but you just don't know what tomorrow might have. Anyone can have an accident. Anyone can win a lottery. So you just do your duty of working hard, and just be nice to everyone. Because it's more effort to be bad to someone than be nice to someone.
Absolutely.
And in the future, if you've got a building mindset, then collaborations can come as well. So yeah.
One day I was going to gym, then I left my AirPods. So I don't know where it was. I left it at home. Then I'm just parked in front of the gym and I'm thinking, should I go or not? It's boring, no music. I go left
Yeah.
there. So I just continued. I went to gym and after all working out, I'm thinking that we are so much consumed by these dopamine and excitement
Yeah.
all the time. And it happens through music. It happens through sexes and everything.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that is making us like addicted to all these burst of feelings. And I came to this mentality where I thought that it's sometimes, most of the time, good to be boring emotion,
Mm.
which means that if I do a sales, if it's $200,000, it's just another sale.
Okay.
If I make another sale for it's still another sale, right? So that way with this one, I can get close to the goal. For example, all of these Olympic medalists, they have achieved it. I mean, saying most of them, they're not just very excited
Yeah.
because in their mind, they have won so many times and this is just another race to them.
Yeah.
But it's easier said than done.
True.
So
True.
every time we get a deal and it's a good deal, I come to office.
It's okay to celebrate a bit. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
you should celebrate. In fact, it motivates you, and that's the right way to use dopamine rather than doom scrolling. But the key is not to let it get to your head. Not to
Yeah.
be like, oh, now I've got this deal. Now let me just call my boys, take time off from work for a few weeks, and go out drinking.
Yeah.
Or let me now that I got money, I got let me be mean to this guy or whatever. So I mean, but it's always good to celebrate, of course.
Absolutely. Sometimes like these days happen, you stop talking to your clients that are making, bringing a few $1,000
Yeah.
because you're in this.
Yep.
And yeah, that's really important. And
Which is what happens, has happened and still happens to me. And that's not bad because the thing is, you need to prioritize time. And I used to be of the mentality that give time to all the clients, especially the clients who were there when you started, which is good. You can give them time. But the thing is, you can also delegate to a good staff member who can still give them the same love and nurturing, but your time could be then utilized to grow the business as well. I don't personally think, if you ask me, that's a bad thing that if you're delegating those clients to, let's say, a new staff member, as long as they're still going to be looked after. You should not, definitely, by no means, you should not be like, this client is not giving me enough money. I'm just not going to give them a good service or good time.
yeah.
Make sure this level of service is the same as what you were giving
Right.
or better. But your time as a business owner is very limited. What you put in your head is limited, right? Like you get exhausted by the end of the day because so much new information is coming. So sometimes you just have to prioritize.
How do you find? We had a talk with Steve, and one of the interesting things he said is the third space.
Third space.
Third space.
Mhm.
So he said third space is a place where you just find happiness. It can be a beach, it can be a library, it can be your gym, anything. So as a lot of information is coming and we're all exhausted, and he said that once you start making mistake is the time you need to take. You need to go to that third space. Do you agree with that?
I think so. I mean, in fact, I would say a lot of people would be doing that consciously or subconsciously, especially if they're in business because they need somewhere to recalibrate. I mean, they could go somewhere for inspiration or recalibrate their mind or whatever it is, just to have a little bit of a change. But if someone can do that consciously, as what Steve was saying, that's even more powerful.
Absolutely. It's just choosing.
Yeah, just to reset your mind. Like if you like something, like for example, when I was younger, I used to go out a lot clubbing, but that's to me with age, with family, that started becoming detrimental to my work, to my business, to my mindset. So I actually don't enjoy that anymore. What I enjoy now is going to nature or the beach or somewhere beautiful with the family, with the kids, and that can be my space, and I can refresh and come back to work.
What are the 3 advices you would give to your kids?
I would say, obviously, you have to be very humble because be nice, be humble, and be ready to help. Be a builder. When I say by that, be a builder, is add value.
Yes.
Add value to wherever you can go and whomever you're with. Because if you can add value to them, that's great. They'll always remember you. And sometimes they will also add value back to you. But that's just a bonus, right? So, first thing I would say is add value. Second thing is always keep learning, right? Very, very important. If you think that I know, that's the time you won't know.
Yeah.
So, definitely the second one is keep learning. It doesn't mean you need to read a book. It just means just be ready to learn from anyone's experience, right? If someone is new in a particular skill that I don't know about, I always listen to them. Oh, okay. So how do you do this? What is this? Every industry I'd like to know a little bit about. Pretty much I've watched a lot of documentaries. I don't read much books. I would honestly tell you that. But what I do is I read a lot of articles. I read a lot of, I see a lot of documentaries about different topics, and then I connect the points. So always keep learning. All right. And the third, these two are important. Now you've asked me on the fly. If I was to pick out a third one as well, I would say health. How can I forget health? That's what my dad had drilled me throughout my whole upbringing, I suppose. So I think if you don't have good health, you won't have a good mind. So, when I say add value, be humble, all that relates to have a good mindset. So have a good mindset, always keep learning, and then obviously look after your body.
We found a common area. So you see, this thing that I have is made of three things.
Yep.
The first one is mindset.
Okay.
Second one is fitness.
Right.
And the third one is money, which is business.
Ah, right.
So for me, it's, you can, I'm saying like, I'm not trying to, do a gender difference, but for me, to be a man, you have to be strong mentally, so you do not break under stress.
Yes.
Like all of these things, so you have to keep on learning, you have to be humble, you need to know where you're coming from, and have values.
Yes.
And the second one is fitness. Imagine if all of the money goes, there's no money, and tomorrow there is an end of the world, right? And then you see all these zombies coming up. You gotta be healthy to run, right?
Yes, that's a good point. In fact, I would like to add one more point. It's sort of, maybe it could be just a part of mindset, a positive mindset. But when you said there's no money, things like that can happen, right? One very important thing, which I'm personally a huge believer of, everything in life, you should take it as an experience. Always believe, though, that's very important, because if you believe that I will overcome this task, you should not fall in a state of, and again, mental health is very touchy. I shouldn't be using words like of sadness or depression. But what I'm trying to say is that you should understand that it's all temporary phases. What I told you about money as well. Money should also not make you cocky, because it's all temporary phases. You don't know. Same thing about bad situations. When money goes or comes, even when money goes, I'm not, even if I make sometimes a bad deal, because let's say I had put into the peak of crypto in 2000 and so I believe it was 2020 when it was at the peak, and then it crashed. But that doesn't matter. I told my wife, you know what? I will work extra hard, but it doesn't matter. I'll make it up.
Do you mind if I ask how much you lost there?
But I didn't, because I didn't sell. So one thing though, when a deal is bad, I never sell out, which sometimes it's maybe the wrong move. This time it was the right, because it came back up. And when I hit break even, then I sold it, and then I put it in a property project. So overall in crypto, I didn't lose. But these things happen, because now when I took it out and I put it in the property project, if I had left that money in, it would be 10 times more.
Yeah.
So, so that's what I'm trying to say, that you just don't go, oh my God, I lost so much. Oh my God, I've got so much. It's all an experience. So if I could then pass on, when you said what I could pass on to the kids, one of the main things is I have to put this point across to my son and daughter, that in life, being born is a blessing. You've won a lottery already. Do you know the chances of you being born? There's billions of sperms fighting. Then on top of that, right?
You're the fastest.
On top of that, that's already 1 in a billion, right? We are blessed to be in good families. We are blessed to be in a good country. right? For me, even when I was in India, I was in a good family. So for me, that in itself is a blessing. Then coming over here, we're in one of the best countries. It's called a lucky country, right? And on top of that, we've got hands, legs, eyes, working body. I mean, why should we be depressed? We can achieve anything. So that is a very important point to remember. And I wish I can pass this point to the kids as well.
Being grateful.
So being grateful, because why not? You can achieve it anyways if you want something.
Absolutely. Sometimes when I see people complaining and they're, going, oh, why this thing happening to me? You didn't say why this was happening to me when all good things happen.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, imagine you go there and there's this beautiful tree, right? You're getting fruits all the time, every single day. One day you go, there's no fruit there. You want to take the axe and take it down.
Yep. So if someone's got a mentality like that, then they'll always be going to be crying. You have to have a mentality to look at the silver lining.
Yeah.
So adding on to what I was telling you is always try to find a solution and don't be depressed, and it's all temporary, so on. But also along with that, you have to adopt the mindset of it's how you look at something. I know it's a cliche. Everyone says glass half full, half empty. Everyone's heard of it a million times.
Yeah.
But the net result, what it is all about, is everything is a point of view, right? Everything can be good or bad. It's on how you look at it. So first and foremost, for your situation, try to see how much positive you can make it. Sometimes you have to manipulate and lie to yourself. Believe it or not, you have to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Your own situation, you have to be like, no, it's not that bad. We'll figure it out. And it's fine. Then you're happy, you're ready to take the challenge, and then you go and face it.
When you're around individuals that are ungrateful, and you know that there was one person a friend of mine, so this guy was very negative. And I tried to fix this person so many times. So I go through that. I'm trying to, hey, hit the gym. Let's go here. Let's go do that. I tried to do that until the moment that everything just burst. He gave up on everything and he tried to damage and bring it as well. Do you think, is there something you can fix in a person like that, or just try to stay away from that?
And this is again, right? Like, as you read a lot of books and they tell you that, a true friend always stays and things like that. And look, I mean, if you're wanting my honest advice, I would just say that if it's a friend of mine, I would see what his true intention is. Does he want to improve himself and things are bad happening? I'm there. I'll 100% help him, right? There's people who are like, I want to change, but I've had a bad situation, right? And they just need some guidance, but they're ready. Sure. Yep. But then there's some people who are self-sabotaging, who are negative, and they would hate for you to do something good as well. Now, with age, I've realized to separate those people out, because I've got a family. I don't have time. I've got very limited time now, right? The time I have is for my work, for my kids, and my good friends. So if a friend is a good friend that I consider as a good friend in the same mindset, sure. But if it's going to be one of those friends that you're talking about, and let me say, when you're in your 20s, when I was younger, you have all these sorts of friends.
Yeah.
Because A, you can't understand, you can't judge. And B, you're just, oh, they're my friends, I've got to just be with them, right? So if someone's got a self-sabotaging nature, if someone is extremely negative, they don't want to improve their situation, they will definitely not want you to improve your situation. And you just need to get away from that.
Absolutely. One more thing is that I know you have very high goals based on the conversation that we have. What are those goals and how are you?
Continuing on after, like, I guess, I didn't even talk about the property right now. So when we started wholesale in 2013, and that was going well, I thought I'll start with property in 2014. And around 2013, I bought around 4 apartments in the CBD area as well, 2 in Flinders Street, 1 in Burke Street, and 1 was in South Bank. And I thought, okay, now I'll start doing some developments. But I found out about Argyle Diamonds. I don't know if you know about Argyle Diamonds much. So Argyle Pink Diamonds, they come from Western Australia, and the mine was going to finish in 2020. So, and they were going up 15% per year, every year. So I was like, okay, this seems like a very good opportunity. So 2014 to 2019, pretty much I just bought those diamonds, and we've got a good holding of them now, and that delayed my property development start, I would say.
Yeah.
And then 2020 we started with property development, started with the units. Currently we're working on a building in Ravenhall, which is going to be a very high-end commercial building over there. So it's almost 5 levels and really wide and one of a kind for that area. And we're also doing 150 lot subdivision in Woodend.
Yeah.
Also doing 2 petrol station in Woodend. So that's for the property. What I would do is, though, going forward, scale down the property a little bit. Otherwise, I would do it with, I guess, a bigger team, because what I want to do is I want to concentrate more in jewelry. So Adoria Jewels now is almost 5 years now in Collins Street. I want to start expanding to different cities within Australia and then make it global. And if everything goes well and the branding exercise goes well, we create our own range as well. Hopefully, we can make this into a household name. And I guess the journey from there on, once it gets there, right now, let's just say there's a lot more to be done before I say it on camera. So let me not say it, but if one day it reaches there, then we can do a part 2 of the podcast. So property will continue. Hopefully we can do bigger projects, but obviously what I've decided, again, as a businessman, this one point I do want to mention. To me, a good businessman is not someone who out of 100 is perfect in 90. But if he's weak in 10 and if he doesn't know what 10 that is, eventually he'll lose money, because that 10 would be a leaking point. A person who's weak in 90 but knows all 90 of his weaknesses and has someone to cover them is going to be a better businessman than the other one who's got 90 strengths out of 100. So I do love both property and jewelry, but if I'm going to be expanding, I would need a better team. So I'm going to concentrate on getting that if I'm going to be doing bigger projects in property. And for jewelry, I'm going to put in more of my time, but I'm going to be definitely getting a proper team over there for branding and other things as well. If you try to do too much yourself, or if you don't have the right team around you, you can grow because you're smart or hardworking, you can grow. But after a time, there'll be a limit. And that's when you need to realize that, okay, I've got myself to this point, but now I need to cover this point and I need an expert over here. I need to go an expert here and so on. And that's the phase currently I'm at. So it's an exciting time where you're like, okay, these are the things I need to get professionals in and grow from there.
So when you're expanding your team, you're looking for talent.
Of course, yes.
What kind of talent are you?
Depends on the role. But one thing what I'm now come to realize is that the attitude of the person is very important, how dedicated they are and how much growth or hunger they have as well. But again, it depends on the role. If I'm just going to open one of the shops that I open, if it's going to be just a suburban shop where I would just need a staff member to oversee it. And again, that's not, I'm saying I would need like a bad staff member by any means or unmotivated. But what I'm saying is the risks are lesser than if I hire someone to replace me for a particular project. I would want that person to be hungry and not think, oh, it's 5 o'clock, I'm going to just pack up and go. And of course, you can't force someone to work the extra mile how you would, but you got to look after them properly first. And they need to have the right attitude, mindset, talent. It's difficult.
It's very difficult.
But that's what I'm thinking, if you were to ask me, is important.
Absolutely. Because, human has this special talent. They can lie.
Yes, that's right.
That's right. For a long time.
And one mistake, again, like you need to always say if you're doing something good, fine. But if you're doing bad, if for others to learn as well, which I think I've made many a times, which I've realized now when I'm interviewing, I'm very positive, sure. And I'm always thinking the best. So when someone used to come for an interview and they go, I can do this, I will do this, I'll do that. I'm like, yes, he can. He's saying it's a confidence, because I sort of would see myself in them. And one thing my dad used to always say is that you think the other person's as smart as, or I shouldn't be using as smart, but is like you and you think they can do these things, but they're not. And that's where your problem, a lot of it is happening. And now I realize that. So you have to always understand the person, not think that, okay, I can do it, maybe they can as well. You have to see what they can do actually. And sometimes being too positive, which is beneficial in a lot of areas, can affect a little bit in areas like that.
This reminds me of a story. You know Genghis Khan, right?
Yeah.
Genghis Khan. So he had a lot of sons. This was one of the sons, and he was one of the best warriors. The stamina, very hardcore warrior. He sent him anywhere he could take. He never made him a big general. Then everyone was angry, like, hey, he is the best warrior, not. He said, because this guy has no limit, and he's gonna push the army to the limit where everyone is gonna fall.
Yeah.
Same thing, like you as a leader, you as a person in charge, you know you can do all these things, but then you push the whole army, the whole team.
Yeah.
The point they're like, do that.
So you need to realize that, and that's what
Yeah.
I was saying. It's good to realize that, and again, I'm not I always want to be a very good boss, or I don't want to be at someone's back. So when we used to interview these people, and they used to come with all these things they could do, and I'd believe them, and I'd give them the task, and I'd be like, afterwards, oh, well, what happened? Oh, this happened, that happened. 100 excuses coming. So of course, that sort of a thing is very important. So now I'm a little bit more restrictive in when I'm hiring. But if you can get the art of hiring correctly, which I'm now trying to perfect, nothing like it.
Yeah. Another question is a little personal. It just came to my mind. I can see that your dad had given you the best training, the best mindset. Do you think, is he proud of you?
Of course, he is. Yeah. Yep.
What do you expect your son or your daughter to do so you are proud of?
Well, my dad obviously brought us up in a different era, and as you said, he gave a lot of training. You don't know the half of it. Maybe I should quickly tell you about my routine very quickly. So I used to wake up like 4 in the morning,
Every
get
day.
ready. Yeah, yes. He used to say, see the rising sun, which in summers used to come at 4 something in the morning. I used to get ready for swimming. I used to go for swimming in Delhi. There's a Talkatora Stadium where, like let's say people who are going to be in the Olympics for the Indian team used to train. So our dad used to send us there. We used to swim for an hour till 6, get ready for school, be at school by 7:30, and then we'd have a school day, come back home, finish school at 1:30, come back home by 2:30, eat food, and be at tennis by 4. 4 to 5 was training, like proper running, like athletic training. 5 to 7 tennis, then warm-up training 7 to 7:30, reach home around 8, 8 to 10 study, eat and study while studying. The tutor was there, and 10 o'clock go to bed. So that was
Every day.
That was a hardcore. Weekends, the tennis was 6 hours. So yeah, he brought us a little different. All the cousins were enjoying going out, family trips, this, that. But he was like, no, you got to do this. So I used to hate it as a kid.
Yeah.
Hate it. But it's okay. It gave us a lot of strength, stamina, and
Discipline.
and basically, for my kids, it's a little different now, right? They're a bit more softer. You can't tell them. You have to you have to ease the training into them and things like that. But I try to always explain everything to him. I'm always like explaining the reason we do this is because of this and so on. And I think he is understanding, and he's become quite good in explaining his points and reasoning as well. So the journey will continue. But for me to be proud of him, that was your original question, right? Right now, I don't know. Let me not have a fixed mindset about it. He has his own journey. The only thing which I tell him, right, which is no matter what you do, you have to be happy, because if you're unhappy, that's a failure straight away. You have to be happy, first thing. And second thing, you have to try to be the best. So my wife interjects, right, when I say this, oh, what if he wants to be a cleaner? I said, doesn't matter. He can be the best cleaner and open cleaning business and takes a contracts for all the buildings cleaning. It's no problem if he wants to go down, but then there needs to be an evolution as well, because you're the best at what you do. So that's what I would want. And for me to be proud or not, let him have a bit of fun. We'll figure it out later.
Were you happy when your father was having that?
Oh, no, not at all.
Okay.
Oh, the worst.
How about the first point that you said? I want him to be happy. You were performing the best when you were not happy.
No, well, performing the best is very subjective because he loved, let's say, tennis, and let's say we had to play all this tennis. So that's obviously good for him, but I wasn't particularly happy about that. Studies I never wanted to do, so that, anyways, I was like, nah. But I passed, got the degrees, did all that for him, so that's fine. Look, happiness is very subjective and it's different points of views. What I feel is good is if you love someone, maybe sometimes you can compromise a little bit. But I've realized something is that I don't want to force my way or my happiness onto someone else. Let them grow and nurture. And you can guide them and give them all the proper base. Like this is a base where I tell him that you can do anything, but can you promise me that you'll be the best at it or try to be the best at it? Sure, I can do that. But I'm not going to force him, you have to do this business. Right? So that's
Yeah.
little different from that generation to this one.
They say that good times bring,
Yeah.
but bad times bring good times.
I
Man,
think so.
something.
Yeah.
It's like
So the thing is, good times. So first, I think starts with bad times create strong men. Strong men create good times, which is money. Good times create weak men. Weak men create bad times, and the cycle continues.
yes, and the same way with the fall of empires.
Yes.
So what happens?
Like
in the fall of-
Rome and
Yeah,
all of them,
they're
and
like,
corruption.
hey, let other people do the job. We just chill here, do some drinks. Then it happened. So it's really good, and it was a very good learning lesson for me. I'm definitely gonna go through the whole audio and the Spotify like through it again and again because it was a journey that somehow touched base with my personal journey because my father was very strict too.
Yeah.
Give me beliefs.
Yeah.
He loved it. Like I won't change that. And then, but always in construction. So for me, the mentality was you gotta be a good man and you have to work very hard. Yes, he did. Good man and work hard. But now there's a lot of things changed. Like you gotta be smart. If you're
Yes.
smart, you can make so much money rather than being hard work. But this is a mindset in me.
You gotta have a combination, I think, of both.
Yeah.
If you're just smart without the hard work, still there's a problem. You get in temporary, you can get rich, but it will go away. If you're only hardworking and not smart, then it will take you a really long time to get rich, and maybe you'll get there, but right at the end. So combination of both is the best.
So if I can ask my mentors to help me become more away from the physical hard work to the mental, the smartness, I would pay any.
Correct.
Currently, that's where I'm,
Well,
I mean-
and one way to do that is what I'm finding out, and which I'm gonna start doing myself now, is hire the right talent. Make them grow, you grow. Make them grow, you grow. So
Makes sense.
yeah.
Thank you so much. Do you have any other saying for the audience?
No, it was a really good podcast, I guess. The whole interview, which was raw, as you said, there's like no editing, everything came, there was no script, there was not even a questions. So everything pretty much was from the heart. I think we unpacked quite a bit over there, starting from work to family to even things like how mentality on what the son should be and what a good mentality is. So I think it was quite good. I hope someone can learn something at least, and I'd be happy with that.
Absolutely. I started doing this journey and I recorded it and I posted. I thought that no one is watching. It was called 90 Days of Hell. So I became in the best shape possible when I made $100,000.
Wow.
For the
Yeah, very
Thank you
good.
so much. Yeah, beautiful team. The whole company that we have built was created during that time.
So improve your health and make money. See, this is it.
And the
Win-win.
business and the
Yeah.
mindset too. I was totally a different person at the beginning of the year. So if I'm against that guy, I would eat him alive.
There you go.
But I have recorded and posted it there. I thought no one is really watching until my nephew came to me and he's like, Uncle, do you know 9 of my classmates start going to gym because they're looking at your content.
Wow.
And that was meaningful to me because at least I thought no one is really watching. But then even if one person who goes to the gym and start changing and doing some business, I've already done my part, right?
That's good.
There's so much
Very good.
negativity out there, like OnlyFans,
Yeah.
a lot of bad things. But then you're sitting here, if even one person changes the course of their life, and maybe you can have a sit and talk to him, he can be the next emperor, someone who built something beautiful. Well, I've learned a lot, and I have my reflection. I have to go listen to this and think about it. Do you have anything for me to improve my interview?
I think your interview is very good because, I'll repeat the point again of actually doing it all raw. It's just so natural. And for me as well, when I was coming, I said, "Oh, you haven't given me any questions. What if I can't answer something? What if I have to think of something?
Yeah.
And this is not even edited." But to be honest, it all flows. And I guess what's good about you as an interviewer, you make the other person feel safe, nice, and your questions are such, they're engaging. They let the other person talk, and then the viewers obviously to listen as well. So I think you're doing a great job, and you should keep at it. And
Thank you
hopefully your
so much.
channel grows.
Thank you so much.